Can we have a loud round of applause, ladies and gentlemen?
Thank you to all the delegates for doing the honors.
Now, right after this, I would request respected Dean, LFTS, Dr. Laviraj Gupta, for the welcome speech. Can we have a loud round of applause for respected Dean, LFTS, Dr. Laviraj Gupta?
Good morning, ladies, gentlemen, and dear students. Today is a very gracious day. It's a day where we are celebrating the most pertinent and the most important kind of trait in an individual. The trait of literary, the trait of language, the trait and attribute of communication. Let me begin my statements and introduction to the guest with a framework which I was thinking in the morning. I thought that the humanitarian spread, not the historian point of view, but the transcripted point of view, can be basically divided into 4 basic eras. The eras, in terms of the first era, was the Alexander the Great's era. The second era was the Hitler's era. The third era was the Einstein's era. And today's era is the Larry Page and Zuckerberg's era. Why I'm talking about these 4 eras? Because the deeds for worship and deeds for praise have changed by these eras. When it was Alexander the Great, the deeds and actions of acting, of doing something on the own was prevailing. The pertinence of doing something and the actions were praised, were worshipped. Then came the era of Hitler, wherein the power came into picture, wherein the people were praising, were worshipping the power. Then came the era of Einstein, wherein the knowledge prevailed. People who were knowledgeable, people who were knowing something to the best of it, were worshipped. But today, the era is of Larry Page and Zuckerberg, where presentation is the most prevailing kind of act. People who might not have actions, who might not have power, who might have a little knowledge, but have got the best of presentation, goes beyond. That is where the festivals like this play a major important role. Because presentation means communicating the righteous word stitched in the righteous tense and presented with the most important and most relevant pitch. If you know the word and if you do not know the tenses, it has got no meaning. If you know the word, if you know the tenses, and if you cannot actually represent it vocally or through writing in the righteous fashion, it has got no meaning. Believe me, all you young people belong to the era wherein presentation, wherein the communication is the key factor. not for your success, it is for your survival. You need communication as the most important tool. It should be in your bloodline. The festivals like this, the literary festivals, play a major and important role to give you that opportunity to learn from others, that how a particular knowledge, how a quanta of knowledge is represented, is presented in the best fashion, so that the people listening to it, people reading it, understands it to the maximum of it. Stating that, I welcome all the most wonderful speakers out here, whom I'll be introducing just after this. I was reading their profile and I was totally aghast. It was awesome to read their profile and to now present in front of you. To begin with, we welcome Mr. Surendra Seth with a good round of applause, please. He's a multidisciplinary, multifaceted professional. Honored on Republic Day for meritorious contributions to art and culture, Mr. Surendra Seth is truly multifaceted personality. A graduate in mechanical engineering, he's an inspiring speaker, writer, and artist with learning towards music, drama, poetry, literature, and a very popular TV personality, famous for TV quiz shows, Parak, Kasauti, and TV documentaries presented for Doordarshan. His 4 published books, and you know, the names say it all. The books are Ek Kahani, Ek Kiran, Ek Jyoti, Ek Kiran, Ek Anubhav, Ek Kiran, and Ek Bhav, Ek Kiran. Try to figure out that all such 4 most beautiful attributes are taken into consideration, giving a beam of light together. Accredited with Doordarshan and AIR, top presenter Mr. Surendra Seth has authored and presented over 1,500 programs. As I said, like Parak, Kasauti, Khas Khabar, Ek Nazar, and live shows. As a commentator of national and international events, he covered the most famous bus yatra for Prime Minister Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee to Lahore and Lord Jagannath Rath Yatra at Puri, apart from many other events to his credit. His services as coordinator of Speak Mekhe and the Vice President of Baba Har Vallabh Sangeet Mahasabha are a pointer to his commitment towards Indian heritage, music, and literature. Philanthropist by zeal. For earthquake victims of Gujarat, he assisted in raising 7.8 lakhs with a personal family contribution to rupees 1.11 lakhs. We have with us today Mr. Indrajit Singh, BTech in Electronics and Communication Engineering, the very first batch he was stating, 1993, Indrajit, if I'm not wrong, from NIT Jalandhar. He's a university and college silver medalist. Worked for 8 years in an Indo-Australian joint venture before starting his own venture in 2001. Presently the managing director of TRC Exports, that manufactures and exports engineering products to over 20 countries worldwide for printing industry, and has facilities in Jalandhar, Mumbai, and Hyderabad. Conducted entrepreneurship workshops and seminars, written columns and articles for Times of India for many years. He's a radio voice artist for All India Radio and private radio channels for 10 years. He has published the collection of short stories, and the name is Pilgrims of Sorrow. Today we have with us Dr. Sandeep Chatwal. Dr. Sandeep is the managing trustee of Viran Wali Foundation. He's a practicing physician and managing director of Omni Clinics and Diagnostics. Viran Wali Foundation is an NGO that has been active since 2005. The key areas of work of this organization are ensuring education and good health to underprivileged children. It is also involved in funding the marriage of fatherless and orphan girls from the impoverished backgrounds. Nanni Jaan is the flagship project of Viran Wali Foundation. Project Nanni Jaan of Viran Wali Foundation started when some extremely stressful circumstances were experienced at the Advanced Pediatric Center at PGIMR, Chandigarh. Now we have one very exciting person with us. I must call that his profession is diving deep. We have with us Mr. Premal Raval. When I say that his profession is diving deep, he's graduated from IAFT doing specialization in cinematography. And what does he do? He shoots underwater. To his credits, he has worked for Bigfoot Studios in Philippines, under camera and production department, shooting a reality show known as Underwater Action Season 3. Shot a pilot episode for Live to Dive. Rather, it is Live to Dive, not Live to Dive. I'm sorry for that. Live to Dive, which is a travel show about underwater. Shot a 3D travel show in Hong Kong. And he has worked with BBC, Nat Geo, Discovery, History channels to his credit. And for all you young people, he has shot music videos for MTV, MTV Indies, Coke Studio, VH1. He expertise in underwater cinematography, aerial and on surface, and has got a specialized shooting, done music gigs like Sunburn, Rajasthan, and Siula. We have with us today Mr. Nasir Khan. Nasir has worked in Europe, Africa, and Asia with a wide variety of public and private organizations, virtually every arena, from military sector to financial services to manufacturing, health, IT, retail, police, universities, and the list goes on and on. Nasir comes from very humble beginnings. He went to do MBA from University of Macerata, Italy. He's also an MA in English Literature and Political Science. In the last 18 years, he has worked with many reputed names such as the Indian Army, Hindustan Petroleum, Indian Police, Regional Government of Marche, Italy, BP, that is British Petroleum, British Telecom, Genpact, Cipla, and whatnot. Nasir is the founder director of Elevate Global Training Solutions and Elevate Finishing School. He's one of the most sought after speakers on leadership and human motivation. Nasir's message is simple yet powerful. Nasir uses such advanced techniques, and this is a little exciting, that he uses neuro-linguistic programming, that is NLP, and music to communicate to your subconscious mind so that the message anchors onto your brain and you actually follow through on what you learn. I, on behalf of LPU family, welcome this August gathering. And the speakers, who can take you deep down to the sea and who can actually take you up above there, inside the body, inside the mind. Let us all get excited. Let us all buckle our shoes for the most running sprints in literary so that you can communicate what you know in the best possible way. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, now this is the time for which we have been waiting for since last 3 months. This is the time to declaration of LPU National Literary Fest open. And for this, I request our chief guest, Honorable Chancellor, Lovely Professional University, Shri Ashok Mittal, to please do the honors. Sir, I request you.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this Literary Fest. I do hereby declare that LPU National Literary Festival open.
Ladies, hello. Hello, check. Hello, check. Hello, check. Hello. Hello. Hello, check. Ladies and gentlemen, LPU's National Literary Fest 2016 is hereby open. Hello. Now with this, let's move on to our first keynote speaker for the day, an electronics and communication engineer from NIT Jalandhar, and worked for 8 years in an Indo-Australian joint venture before starting his own venture in 2001. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Indrajit Singh, our first keynote speaker for today. And he is here to talk about ethicpreneurship. We have heard about the term entrepreneurship, but how important are ethics to us? And that is all about ethic entrepreneurship, and that is what he's going to talk about. Check.
Good morning. Am I audible? No. Am I audible? No.
Hello.
Perfect. Very good morning to you all. It's first of all very exciting to see a room full of young people. Before anything else, the energy tends to get to whosoever comes up to speak. It's a proud moment. First of all, I'd like to thank LPU and the dignitaries present here. And my apologies to Shri Surinder Seth. Sir, I would have preferred to follow, but I've stolen your thunder because we are still working on some compatibility issues on your presentation. So I do not have a presentation, I have a chat, and I would have preferred in any case a handheld mic, so I'm glad that these are not working. I would like to pose a question to all of you first of all. What do you think is the most important thing in life that we look for? Perfect. I mean, I would have wandered for the answer. Please, a round of applause for the gentleman. It's so obvious. Happiness. So we were in the chancellery and we were discussing various things, and I wanted to request your team that runs LPU, why can't we have happiness as a taught subject? Don't you think it's logical? If happiness is the most important thing in life, why is happiness not taught as a subject? Have you ever given it a thought? What do you think the course would look like if happiness was taught as a part of your curriculum, as a part of your life? If happiness was a subject, if it's so damn important, why aren't we teaching our children, our students, our youth, happiness? Can anybody answer? I mean, use a little bit of your imagination. We are at the beginning of a Lit Fest where we are going to talk about so many literary things, from poetry to elocutions to essay writing to on the spur of the moment thinking in debates about arguments that you're going to use to counter the others. How do you think happiness would be as a subject? What all would it include? Can you think of anything? Name a few, enlighten me. Okay. Okay. So does exploring lead to happiness? Does exploring lead to happiness? What gives you happiness? Following your passion. How many of us are doing it in this room? Put your hands across your heart and answer that question downright honestly. How many of you are pursuing your passion? What comes in the way? What stops you from pursuing your passion? Come on. Time and money. So should we put it indirectly that money gives us a lot of happiness? Money should be a nice indicator of happiness? Mixed answer, yes and no, yes and no. Okay. Is happiness sold by weight or by volume? I mean, how many rupees per kilo of happiness can we get? Or is it by volume? Can you quantify happiness? Can we put a price tag on happiness? If we can't put a price tag, that means money can't buy happiness. Happiness is within oneself. Okay, we have one enlightened soul in the audience who says happiness is within oneself. Now, I'm going to move on to that because my primary target is to talk about happiness today. And it all started a few days ago. I was sharing with the other speakers a while ago over a cup of tea that I was driving in the city and I noticed a couple of youngsters driving a car with a bumper sticker that read, "Two young men, loud music, and of course Honey Singh." And the bumper sticker read, "Revenge is the reason I get up every day." So I was scared. Instead of the usual 5 feet distance, I wanted to maintain 10 feet distance from that vehicle. It's pretty obvious. Somebody is very pissed off. And that gave rise to the core question that I want to ask: why is our youth angry, dissatisfied, or unhappy with the present state of circumstances? Do you agree? How many of you get up in the morning because you have to take revenge upon something? How many of you? Is there anybody in the room who gets up because badle ki aag? Anybody? Do we have anyone? So you think those guys were abnormal, who were proudly displaying that on that sticker? Then I wanted to delve deeper. I wanted to find out that why are people angry? Why is our youth angry? I looked at the music scene, a lot of songs about revenge, a lot of music on the scene about slinging guns, taking revenge, and a lot of songs that are full of hate, cuss words, a lot of songs that want to propagate that. Same goes for our cinema. We'd love Batman versus Superman, right? How many of you seen it? Right, you enjoyed it? Did it give you an adrenaline rush when Batman was throwing Superman around? Did you derive any sort of satisfaction when it's a little confusing because it's all good versus good suddenly, and then you can't make sense of it? But do we derive satisfaction from cinema that propagates violence, destruction? It gives us thrills. You know, if there is an accident on the road, we'd love to stop, not to help, but to find out what's the casualty count. Have people survived? Has somebody died? It becomes a spectacle for us. So deep within, before empathy, there comes something called looking for satisfaction in that event, in that scenario. So films are propagating it. Music is angry. Then you move on to the other aspect. After happiness, is there anything else that you really want in life? Number 2 on your list after happiness. Louder, please. Care? Okay. Anything else on your list? How many of you want to be famous? Want an identity? Okay, lots of hands going up. Young, bright faces, want to make a mark in this world, want to be famous. So I think identity is a very important thing, isn't it? Right? I mean, when I go out to a cafe And without trying to be getting into that dangerous zone of gender-based discrimination, I could average out guys take about one selfie every 40 minutes, and with girls it could be one every 4 seconds. I mean, the shutter has to just close and come up again, right? I'm waiting for the day when people will be at funerals and saying, let me first post a selfie, then I'll express my grief. We are almost dangerously there. Now, can anybody explain the selfie mania to me? Isn't that a search for identity and acceptance? Most important, it's for acceptance. I want to be accepted. I want to look good. And acceptance comes from posting 50 pictures with 50 different pouts and the hair moving to different angles. I don't know if the top films are shot with those many angles, the camera positioned at those many angles, but you can move that camera in 50 different angles. I've seen some people and I'm amazed that they're actually already PhD in selfie. So that's one other aspect. Then your Facebook posts are very important to you. You have to check your status, you have to log in every few minutes. If the internet pack is finished in your phone, you suddenly realize I'm so disconnected from the world. So, identity ke chakkar mein, today, our virtual identity has taken paramount importance. We've already got so many cases of depression that have started to show up because my virtual identity was hacked to death, hacked to pieces, maligned, somebody posted stuff that I didn't want. So we are overly concerned. But as young people, you need to understand that's a very dangerous place to be in. Because that's a virtual identity. Where's the real you? The physical, real you is not interacting with virtual friends. The real you exists here in physical form. So our physical interactions are slowly going down. Again, we are in search. We are getting more and more impatient. A lot of road accidents today, 101 messages. Every day there is one video or the other being posted about people meeting fatal accidents while driving because they were on their phones, checking messages, checking statuses. So we are moving into times where this virtual identity is taking over our lives and having a very negative impact. All because we are looking for the ever elusive happiness. And happiness is not being found in all these things. We have to look elsewhere. So our virtual identity is not helping us. Where do we go next? Then I picked up the newspapers. I wanted validation. Are we living in dangerous times? And all I could see was unrest in the name of religion, unrest in the name of reservations, sensitive issues, unrest in the name of terror attacks. Today, you could strap yourself and blow yourself up for a cause and get to heaven. That's another way youngsters and the youth of the country, of the world, are being swayed. A self-destructive way of finding happiness or heaven or whatever they are seeking. So when you look around, you see that the environment is quickly changing. I was reading an article, very interesting article about Indo-Canadian gangs that are active in Canada. And over hundreds of lives have been claimed in the last 15 years. And these gangs are innocent farmers who migrated to Canada. The younger generation, in search for some thrill, picked up guns, picked up drugs which were easily available. And sometimes when you look around the newspaper in Punjab as well today, you feel that the same scenario is cropping up here. There are trickling news of gang wars and inter-sect rivalries that are taking shape. Today you see youngsters, when I sometimes walk into public places, I see a 25-year-old carrying a licensed gun. I wonder, is this our answer to happiness? Are we searching identity, happiness there? I know there are youngsters who would love to have a Facebook profile picture while they're holding up a revolver. It somehow makes sense to them. But I would like to question that today, that it does not make sense to me. So kindly explain that. So from religious intolerance, from all the energy that you have, where do you go? How do we bring you out of the virtual world? How do we break that dream that you are sleeping in? Literary fests are an excellent platform. You know, the youth today is angry because self-expression is not happening. Some of you in this room are gifted poets, writers, singers, dancers, but for some reason or the other, lame excuses like time, money, if your parents have put you here in a prestigious institution, you're getting excellent quality education, you're buying the clothes you want, you're using the mobile you want, the smartphone that you desire, and you change it very frequently. It's not too difficult to find money to have a guitar, to play it to your heart's content, to dance, to join a dance club, to write poetry, put it online, to shoot a video, share it with people. Today, these are exciting times where there's so much available to you, so many resources at your hand, that if you start looking, I want that hand going up again, the one who said, happiness is inside. Thank you. What's your name? Where are you from? Now, trust me, these people know the most. You know who I was going to talk about? Your country. Because your country, I'm proud of that country which has a $2 billion GDP, but it does not care. We have about 114 billionaires with a GDP, not a GDP, a net worth of well over $2 billion on that Forbes list, starting from Mukesh Ambani, counting down to Azam Premji and the lot. This country has a GDP of 2 billion, but they are the happiest place on the planet because they measure everything with GNH. Can you elaborate on that for me? GNH. Gross national happiness. So kya kare? What should we do? We should migrate. We should all move to Bhutan. Last few days I have been obsessed with because I was trying to figure out what to talk about today, and happiness came up. And when you talk about happiness, they are the entire country. What's the population of Bhutan today? Yes, so we have about 700,000 people there, and they are all doctorates in happiness. They measure everything in happiness, whether it's farming, whether it's business, whether it's relationship. They have a happiness index for everything. And today, their country is probably the most peaceful and the most beautiful place to live in. When today the entire world is creating pollution, is warming the planet, they are not just, if you've heard of the term carbon credits, is anybody aware of carbon credits in the room? Okay, now it's a way how much carbon dioxide your country generates, how many millions of tons of carbon dioxide you generate. Now theirs is the only country in the world who are not just carbon neutral, as in they do not contribute to polluting and warming of the planet, but they in fact are carbon negative. So they are a country, they basically act as a sink that you create the pollution, they dilute it. I was listening to their present Prime Minister, Tshering Togbe. a brilliant man who's studied at Pittsburgh, who studied at the Harvard School, and that's where he learned his politics. Son of a farmer and an amazing speaker. And he again talks about the value of happiness. So when we start looking for happiness, where do we go? I'm going to share a very brief story. I was hesitant about sharing it with you. It's a very commonly told story and everybody knows about it. It's the story of this universe. I was reading a very interesting book recently that said that at 72 different places in our Vedas, Purans, and ancient texts, science and Vedas are in perfect agreement. Spirituality and science are moving in the same direction. So the story goes like this: now that spirituality and science agree, about 4 billion years ago, the earth was born, and much, much long before that, the universe was born in a big bang. That's what's been talked about. And it was born out of nothing. And that nothing is called a singularity. So everything came out of that singularity. Science calls it singularity, we call it God or consciousness or super consciousness, whatever we want to name it. So everything originates from the same thing and everything remains connected. So it's a very radical thought for young boys and girls to digest, but how it connects with what I'm trying to say is this: because you are connected to the person sitting next to you, you are connected to the walls, the planets, everything that's out there in the space is connected. So everything is a common fate. Whatever happens on planet Earth ultimately determines the fate of this entire universe, no matter how infinitely big, expansive, and expanding it might be. So if we are all connected, the first and the foremost thing that we require is what he said. Are you Bhutanese as well? You said care. Right? Right? So somehow these guys have their values in place. They have all their indicators in the right place. Care. The moment you adopt a caring attitude and start to shift the focus from your personal self to people around you, happiness will start to happen to you. When you write poetry or when you write something literary, not even half the people will be interested if your writing is totally about yourself. You know, if a poet starts writing about how his heart was broken by a girl, there are not many people who are going to listen to him unless your heart's been broken and you identify with his pain. So there's care, there's reaching out. You identify with someone suffering and it works for you. But if the same poet starts to raise a voice about, say, an issue that connects everyone, how many of you would have put millions of likes on a piece of poetry that talks about the unfortunate incident that happened in Delhi when a girl was raped a few years ago? Right? So if somebody writes a strong piece on that, you connect with it. A common cause, a common pain, a common concern. We are all concerned about the safety of women, so we will immediately like it. So when you talk about literature, when you talk about writing, when you talk about any creative aspect, it has to be for a higher cause than yourself. So when you come to a literary fest, it's very important to realize happiness is not personal, it's a common goal. It's something that connects all of us. Happy is a place. That's what they say it in Bhutan, right? Happy is a place called Bhutan. And how to make a happy place is if everyone's needs are met. There's happiness in one sip. S-I-P. If you feel secure, if you have a sense of security, I have a steady job, or I have a good life, I have a safe home, my bills are taken care of, I'm not going to starve to death, nobody's threatening to kill me. So that sense of security is the first thing that's important to you in case of happiness. And second most thing is identity. All of you as youngsters, even I sometimes feel we struggle with a sense of identity. We are looking for the reason why we are here on this planet, what is my identity, and how do others perceive me. You feel happy the day 10 people admire your dress sense, your clothes, or something that you do, a good academic performance. That sense of achievement, that sense of identity keeps you going for the next target. And the third and the foremost is purpose in life. So SIP, that sip is what brings you happiness. So happiness is in one sip. You need security, you need a sense of purpose along with identity. So when you approach this literary festival today and in the following days, whatever literary events you undertake, please keep in mind that creativity is for a purpose. Creativity is for the larger good. And I had initially intended to call this talk, as he introduced as well, Ethicpreneurs. Today, it's a time of startups. Youngsters are aiming to start a company in a garage. We hear so many success stories. You are going to go out there and make a mark, but make sure that your ethics are in place. You have empathy for others. You are aware of the environment. You take care of the resources of this planet, which are depleting very fast. The moment you are keeping all these factors in consideration, whatever you undertake will be a success. We have inspiring speakers today. Dr. Saab, who runs an NGO, after being a very successful medical practitioner, why has he moved on to save the lives of little children and infants? That's a sense of purpose that's higher than individual purpose. Those are the kind of people we have to model our lives on, because we want to make the life of general lot of people in this world better. To sum up what I just said, I want to share a very short 2-minute, 3-minute short film with you, and I want to leave you with some food for thought with a last remark. So can I request the audiovisual to switch on the film, please, and maybe turn off the lights for a bit so that they can see. very simply stated. Now, no fancy equipment. A young man, 20 something, picked up his Samsung phone and shot this entire film and put it out there, and it won him an International Film Festival award for this. It takes absolutely nothing. It just takes empathy for another individual that generates a great idea. If you feel the pain of the world around you, and if you experience and if you understand the suffering around you, you can come up with numerous creative ideas like this, not to exploit them, but to empower them, to help them. Because only when we take up issues beyond our individual needs, we become useful, helpful to the world, and the entire universe gets back to you with great rewards. So I'd just like to tell you, be in the moment, look for happiness in the now, and whatever anger, whatever frustrations, whatever grievances that you have against the world, in the next 3 days, pour them out in this literary festival through maximum participation. And who knows, we might have great writers, great filmmakers, great dancers, great performers, musicians right in this room. And we look forward to seeking your autographs in times to come. Thank you.
Hello. Happiness comes from inside you. Others just add to your happiness.
I'm not sure about how would it be if we had a course called happiness, but I'm pretty sure the course code will be HPY100, and it'll be a 3-credited course, yes? With tunes and a lecture. And moving on, and thank you, sir, for talking about climate change and pollution, because the last person I heard talking about this was Leonardo at Oscars. So you were the next person whom I heard talking about this issue. Thank you so much, thank you. And moving on, the next speaker, whenever I talk about this speaker, I always have goosebumps. He's been a motivation and inspiration since the last few years, a force driving me actually. He's a graduate mechanical engineer by qualification, but more of a writer, a speaker, an artist, and a television personality. How many of you all have watched him already on Doordarshan? If you all know whom I'm talking about? Yes? The famous TV personality? And he's also hosted TV quiz shows like Parak, Kasauti, Lok Akhandene, and TV documentaries presented from Doordarshan. Ladies and gentlemen, with loud round of applause, welcome Dr. Surendra Seth.
Today, he is going to enlighten us on the topic Role of Communication Skills for Overall Personality of the Youth.
Namaskar, Sat Sri Akal, Namo Narayan, good morning. I'm totally floored for the basic reason that all these 4 words were the welcome given to you for coming to the lap of Ma Saraswati, which is called the Literary Festival. And when I don't get a response to the word of greeting like Namaskar, good morning, Sat Sri Akal, and Namo Narayan, being a Punjabi Indian, an Urdu couplet starts doing bhangra in my body, and which I will translate later. यूं तो कहने की नहीं बात मगर कहता हूँ, प्यार का नाम किताबों में लिखा देखा है, और जब हाथ बढ़ाया है किसी की जानिब, फासला और भी कुछ बढ़ता हुआ देखा है, बूंद भर दे न सका कोई मोहब्बत की शराब, यूं तो मैखाने का मैखाना लुटा देखा है. For those who were perhaps not with me when I was choosing this language, I said, this usually is not the thing to be expressed or said. But then, I must say so, यूं तो कहने की नहीं बात मगर कहता हूँ, प्यार का नाम किताबों में लिखा देखा है. I have seen hordes and huge tonnage of literature written about love, love, love. But whenever I have extended a hand of affection and love, I have always found that some wall of Berlin was raised and the distance between you and me was increased. यूं तो कहने की नहीं बात मगर कहता हूँ, प्यार का नाम किताबों में लिखा देखा है, और जब हाथ बढ़ाया है किसी की जानिब, फासला और भी कुछ बढ़ता हुआ देखा है. बूंद भर दे न सका कोई मोहब्बत की शराब. For you, easy to understand would be that none offered me even a peg of whiskey with 10 ml. यूं तो मैं खाने का मैं खाना लुटा देखा है, whereas the entire pub was devastated by those who wanted to drink. So, to begin with, whenever you are, please try to understand the first most basic concept of literature that were handed over to us by the sages. Namaskar, the first concept. It is art of ego subtraction, that I bow in front of you, eliminating my ego, bodily, physically, spiritually, intellectually, mentally. Namaskar. So when somebody says namaskar, you should say, not like this. What do you breaking my heart? Namaskar. That's it. When somebody says good morning, first you must understand what is good morning. Good morning is the concept created by Britishers. It is art of business management. Now you would say, what the hell? Art of business management. They say, now let's understand. If my morning is good, and if your morning is good, two of us, we go and spread smiles, there'll be four. Four spread smiles, there'll be 16. And the whole lovely professional university will be smiling. So say good morning. Look at your neighbor and say good morning to them. No, people are not even happy about saying good morning to their neighbor. Why are you sitting? Good morning. Then we say Namo Narayan. Art of social equalization. The Lord said, the literature said, the scripture said, the Vedas said, the Upanishads said, Namo Narayan. How would you do that? When you identify and see the same image of the Lord Creator within another person, animal, bird, or creature, and you say, you and me belong to the same great power of manifestation, and I bow before you. So, Prabhu Mero, Namo Narayan. हाँ, इसको धीरे से बोलते हैं, प्यार से बोलते हैं, इसमें नहीं करते, धीरे से बोलते हैं. Namo Narayan. So, to begin with, welcome to this festival of Ma Saraswati. Welcome to this literary function national level. Welcome also to this most glamorous bouquet of colors and faces and expressions and hairstyles and dress senses that I'm seeing before me. Great, absolutely wonderful. This beautiful scene is better than any Mughal garden, even the Rashtrapati Bhavan of Government of India or Pranab Mukherjee Sahab. So clapping for you being here, clapping for you being so happy. Have you ever thought why people, when they test creativity or when they test perception, when they test imagination, they normally, in all examinations, you go to the top management institution and they want to measure your intellectual level. They'll give you a picture and say, okay, what does come into your mind when you see this picture? Any volunteer, what exactly do you think is coming in your mind when you see this picture in front of you? Louder. Sudarshan Chakra. A new idea, absolutely new. But where is the finger which is fingering? Okay, something else. Now let me try and imagine. To my mind, it could be a necklace of water beads, could be, but it could also be a drop of water which is trying to escape out of the surface tension and gravitational force and touch the newest heights in the world in terms of one's own intellectual growth. Frankly, when I just came here and saw the great development happening in the LPU, and then I met Ashok and Rashmi, my conception of this picture totally changed. I thought this picture was a tribute to them. This picture said that if you have a great idea, irrespective of the forces of social, political, economic, you can rise and create LPU. This is precisely what this picture is. This is like shining pearls out of the shadows of darkness, bringing the light of education to millions and millions of people. Do you, any one of you, remembers when there are advertisements of the lovely professional university? What is the catchword? What is the catchword? You know what you did? You're very smart. When you don't want to give an answer, you give it in such a way that the person who's asking cannot understand. Have you ever seen when the train just arrives on a railway station, lot of voices say, choy, 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 and nobody understands what is being sold. So, this is changing the, now you remember what it is? So that is it. This is what is happening. My compliments to the organizers. This is a great function. This is a great get-together. And this is also a great moment for introspection of going into you. Big Bang was discussed. Darwin's theory of evolution was discussed. I do not know how many centuries it took me to lose my tail, which Darwin said I had one some time back. I do not really know, but I certainly know that even in the greatest scripture that we have is Srimad Bhagavad Puran, it said that the word was created and the cosmos was developed out of the small little amoeba in water, and which ultimately became a man. And then man, as it came out of the dark caves of his own ignorance, he stepped out. All of a sudden, he saw the rays of sun energizing him. He saw the water giving him life. He saw the animals attacking him. He saw the floods coming and devastating everything he had. And when all these things happened to him, there was a need for communication. There was a need for words that he wanted so that he could sustain, so that he could live, so that he could grow. But the Big Bang came out of a silence. Huge noise. There was, after that, unleashed energy that came out. And out of that energy, whereas on one hand, he had the inspiration to satisfy his physical needs, the silence also provoked him to meditate. And when in the quest for that literacy and literary and education and development and breaking the barriers that he was facing, perception, observation, investigation, and contemplation dawned on the horizon of the man's mind, and from there on, the literature came. From there on, the communication came. And from there on, the man started working on a totally different angle. Silence gave birth to meditation. So one of the most beautiful tools that you have is silence. Then we also say, which one is your next button? Can I have somebody here? Just tell me, we go down from this button? Okay. So we have, I have a problem here. The subject I'll be talking to you will be communication for better employment, because ultimately this is what is your dream. When I think of these things, a lot of pictures come up in my mind. Because I know, irrespective of the fact that how many droplets of sweat that you drop and how many millions of rupees that you spend, finally you want quality of life, which has been also talked about, happiness, both for yourself and for others. And when that starts happening, you have to rebuild your life. Once I asked somebody, what exactly is life? He said, wife. And I was surprised, because maybe he had a docile one at home. But when I have to talk about life, I have to talk about wife, work, wealth, wretched situation, and also awakening or life. And for all these things, what is required is that you within yourself and
I can't wait to fly. I feel that I'm alive.
let's ask ourselves a question.
When you look at me,
Communication within and communication
I can
outside.
touch the sky. I know that I'm alive. When you bless the day, I just drift away. All my worries die. I'm glad that I'm alive. Set my heart on fire. Fill me with love. Make me a woman. Proud to burn. Couldn't get much higher. My spirit takes flight. 'Cause I am alive. Oh, when you talk on me, when I hear you breathe, like I feel that I'm alive. I am alive. When you reach for me, I know that I'll be the one standing by through good and through trying times. And it's only begun. I can't wait for the rest of my life. When you call on me, when you call on me, when you reach for me, when you reach for me, I can reach the fire. When you bless, you bless the day. I just drift away. I know that I'm alive. I get wings like some know that I'm alive.
You would be more like, हमारी भाषा में कहते हैं कि समय की रेत पर वो कदमों के निशान जो पहले करते ही उड़ गए. So you have to develop a personality of yourself, and unless you do that, so for that, let us take the first thing, image transmission. That is what the communication does, written or verbal. Communication skills can make and break a career. That's very, 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 very important. How? Each one of us lives in an ivory tower where we say we have three images. One image is of the person that I think I am. Second is the image of the person that people think you are. And the third is the actual you that you are. And unless you are able to move away from the first two and be you that you are, you cannot be in Bhutan and you cannot be happy. You will always be in, I wouldn't name any state because I'm not a politician, but you can choose your own state of the liking that you have in India. So it's very, very important. And for that, if you want to be happy, you must adopt the Dhoni dictum. Do you know who's Dhoni? Okay, tell me, he's married to whom? Wow, wow, clapping for you. All beautiful girls, and they will know the names of all of them, right? And what was the name of the mother of Jawaharlal Nehru? We'll tell tomorrow. Okay, so another thing that communication needs, very, very important, is praise loudly, blame softly. That is precisely what has been happening to this country. That is precisely what has been happening to the history of the humanity. That whenever some self-appointed leaders came up in literature, in music, in art, in culture, they were always blaming others most loudly and saying, they are the ones who have spoiled this nation, otherwise we are the greatest. Even after eating so much of fodder, Lalu Prasad Yadav also says that I have been serving the cows to the best of my ability. So that's precisely what we... Okay. I thought somebody has asked the organizer to tell the speaker to shut up. He is going against Lalu Prasad Yadav. Okay, so that's it. That means that we must start the communication within, and communication within is the seed for the literary activities that we can always do. So, my dear friends, 3 words you are not going to use at all. What is that? Defeat, failure, problem. Say after me, defeat, failure, problem. And when you will make sentences of these, you will say, I will never be defeated, I will never fail, and I will solve the problems. Repeat. Because that puts you into the losing frame of mind. When that starts happening, all of you, are you aware of Devdas? Most of you then become Devdas because you say, toot gaya. So please, and what you have is hope, faith, victory. That puts you in the winning frame of mind. Okay? So from tomorrow onwards, whenever you communicate, whether it is an interview, examination, sports meet, or anything, you will always say. Then, let's come to another aspect. Writing is thinking on paper. Somebody said, anyone who thinks clearly should be able to write clearly about any subject. I'm reminded of a small little story that I had read somewhere. A person was sitting on the railway station asking for alms. He was hungry for many days, and he had a bowl in front of him and also a small little placard on which it was written, I am blind, please help. Lots of people was passing by. Nobody was giving him anything. They just look at him and go away. And the sound, the musical sound of coins falling in his brass bowl was almost inaudible. Then somebody from Lovely Professional University came. He went near him, turned the placard around, put some coins in his bowl, and went away. Minute after minute, the blind person would hear more coins falling, more coins falling, more coins falling, and he was quite surprised. He couldn't see. In the evening, the blind person heard the same footsteps coming near him. And he all of a sudden said, please, sir, are you not the same person who had come here in the morning? The man said, yes, I was. And he said, what magic did you do? I've been sitting here for many days and hardly making 2 ends meet. What did you do? He said, I just wrote on the placard, this day is beautiful, but I cannot say, I cannot see, you stay blessed, you are great. No, he said the same thing. He said the same thing, but he could write or paint with a pen by creating a situation which could touch the core of the person who was passing by. And then it also comes in literature. What is written without effort is in general read without pleasure. Somewhere or the other, something should have to pierce your heart and take you into a situation which is also common to the other people, either when they are in joy or when they are in sorrow, either when they are ambitious and scaling new heights or when they're going deep into the dump. You have to. And effort is actually identifying with the socio-economic ethos of a person, and that is precisely what happens to a literary effort. If I ask you a question, why even today Ramayana and Mahabharata are totally relevant to the entire world in spite of centuries before it was created by Vedavyasa and centuries before it was created by Maharshi Valmiki? One simple answer is that even today, out of them, you can find the answers of your dilemma of day. And because it answers your problems of the day, that is why they're relevant. So literature, communication has to be relevant to the day. You're not only responsible for what you say, but also for what you do not say. Now here, the management functions come. I would like to ask many of you, most likely, this also would need confirmation, maybe in your university, somewhere or the other, they have put suggestion boxes. I do not know if they have, that you want some improvement to happen. How many of you have really made a good suggestion? Most of you would say, oh, sada ki janda, what to me? Or let us say, unnecessarily, I don't want to come into the eyes of the head of the department, maybe, and all sorts of things. That is shirking responsibility. If you want to grow in an organization, if you want to be better employed, if you want to rise in your company, if you want to rise in any field, you must have the guts of being able to say and not keep your lips sealed. The consequences, ladies and gentlemen, would always be better. And for that, you need several tools like readings, listening, managing, interpreting, serving, writing, speaking, and all sorts of things. There was a student, not of LPU, let me confirm that. It must be some other university. There was a student, and he went to the university, he saw the equipment was there, the buildings were there, the teachers were there, the labs were there. But somehow or the other, he didn't enjoy the ambience very much. In the evening when he was sleeping, he found himself into a desert, a huge desert. All along sand and sand and sand. And maybe very far somewhere he could see the water shining on the sand. In his dream, he shouted at the God, "Oh God, you're sitting there in the sea on the beautiful Sheshnag with Mahalakshmi caressing your feet, and you couldn't even water this desert? What the hell? You're not a responsible God at all." When he said that, all of a sudden, he saw that there was a well there. He saw the well and again told the God, "You have created well here. How do you think I'm going to take water out of this?" And as he was roaming about in his great arrogance, he also found some buckets were there. As he saw the bucket, he said, "What do you mean, bucket? Do you think my hands are so long that I can do it?" And he also saw the rope. When he saw the rope, he said, "Do you think I am so muscular that I can take water out of this?" He saw there was a wheel. When he saw the wheel, he said, "But who's going to pull it?" When he said this, a donkey came from the back. and gave him a kick. He said, "Sir, I am here. Why don't you use me? I am your younger brother." When he said this, the man got very angry and he said, "Oh God, to hell with you, I'm going away." And when that he said, all of a sudden, from the skies, a small little paper came floating down and fell right in front of him. It was written on that, "I have given you the well, I have given you the bucket, I have given you the rope, I have given you the donkey. Either you now take water and irrigate or remain donkey for the remaining life." The university has given you all the tools. If you want to grow, then you'll have to make use of the tools. God is not going to come and do it. So, to do it, time, empathy, concentration, communication, all these things are necessary. Remember that silence sometimes also is the best answer. And if you want to grow further, now the times are changing. You want to be top in the world. So what you are going to need are going to be emails, electronic meeting softwares, video conferencing, whiteboard software, group scheduling, and all those things. I have said internet. Please use internet and not misuse internet. Google Guru is one of the latest gurus that provides you everything at the touch of a finger. Use him. You will do a great service to the literacy. You will great service to the literary efforts. You will do great service to the Ma Saraswati, and you will make LPU proud of you. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you so much, sir. Seema, good morning.
Namo Narayana.
Well,
Before moving to the next two speakers, I request our chief guest, Honorable Chancellor, Lovely Professional University, Shri Ashok Mittal, and worthy Pro-Chancellor, Lovely Professional University, Mrs. Rashmi Mittal, and with that, Director General, Lovely Professional University, Engineer H.R. Singla sir, to please come up on the stage for the felicitation ceremony.
I can't see my specs were right in my head.
Now, I request Dr. Surinder Seth to please come up on the stage for the felicitation ceremony.
I would request Honorable Chancellor, sir, to please present the memento and felicitate Dr. Surinder Seth.
मैंने बहुत समझाया तो ताली तो जोर से दिया करो, रामदेव का फायदा होगा.
I request Mr. Inderjeet Singh to please come up on the stage for the felicitation ceremony.
I would request Pro-Chancellor ma'am to hand over the memento. Mr. Nasir Khan is not available.
So, like I said, happiness has instantaneous rewards. You spread a little, it comes back multiplied. Thank you for all your affection. Thank you.
I request Mr. Parmal Rawal to please come up on the stage for the felicitation ceremony.
I request Engineer H.R. Singla, sir, to felicitate us.
I request Dr. Chatwal, CEO NGO Nanijan, to please come up on the stage for the felicitation ceremony.
I request Chancellor, sir, to please felicitate. Well, with this, I would like to thank the dignitaries and the chief guest for giving their auspicious time and driving us through a session of complete motivation.
Graduate from IAFT, member of WICA, worked for Big Food Studios in Cebu, Philippines under camera and production department, shooting a reality show known as Underwater and Action Season 3. Then, shoot feature film as main DOP in Tibet, shoot pilot episode for Live to Dive, which is the travel show about underwater life and scuba diving. Then, a short 3D travel show in Hong Kong, worked for BBC, Nat Geo, Discovery, History Channel, have shoot shows for Live Planet Earth series, Mega Structures, Amazing Race, have shoot movies, videos for MTV, MTV Indies, Coke Studios, VH1, expertise in underwater cinematography, aerial and on-surface specialize in shooting music gigs like Sunburn, Rajasthan and Sula Fest. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about Premal Rawal. So ladies and gentlemen, with a loud round of applause, we welcome Mr. Premal Rawal to grace the dais with the words.
But before that, sir, I wonder how underwater. Yes?
I enjoy seeing fishes inside. I love the marine life, so underwater. Hello everybody. Wow. Good to see such young people in front of me, huh? I would like to greet you as like, what's up people? How are you? All good? All great? I'm sorry, the introduction was really going on and I'm like, okay, it's like feeling sleepy already. But I understand being from your point of view, how you guys are feeling. So let's try to spread maximum message in a minimum words so that we entertain ourselves well. And I do my job and then, we keep going with the next guest. So hello everybody here. Youth today, tomorrow and day after. Youth. Actually, it's a great time. Trust me, the life youth, it's between age of 18 to 25, I guess. Maybe more now. People say 35 because we can add on 64% of our population comes under then youth if we say 35. But anyways, that's great. So, 18 to 25. In between of this age where all of you are between of this age, I'm sure. And I feel weird to say that, not me though, but just I'm 29, so I can somewhere consider it. But this age, it's an age where you are expected to learn, follow what you have been learned from your parents and your ancestors. So you are said to be that, okay, this guy now knows exactly what ancestors have thought, and at the same time, you're also expected to take things in future and cope up with the future. Wow. Like we learn two things at the same time. Where we learn something from our ancestors, we learn something from the teachings of our parents, culture, and then continuing it with what we learn, which is like, you're expected to do a Ganesh Puja. At the same time, you should exactly know how to send GPS location on WhatsApp. That's the scene of being a youth, and that's great. It's seriously amazing. So, communication skills is the most important part if you want to really come out in a professional world. Today, you guys all are students, but once you go out, you're gonna be in a practical life, in a practical field where there will be a lot of competition, lot of frustration, lot of people. You know, you will meet so many kind of people you'll not even expect. Like, wow, like, you know, especially when you keep traveling and when you keep working different places, different parts of the world, different parts of India, or different parts of anywhere you go, you learn a lot when you meet different kind of people. So communication is the most important aspect if you want to go out in your professional life. Like how you show yourself, how you talk, how you maintain yourself, like you look professional. And all these skills which you learn is only when you are in a university or when you are growing as a youth. Because this is a time when our brain is ready to grasp as much as information so that you can put it in and keep it with you, because in future it's gonna help you a lot. And for me, like I have also youth icons in my life, and I would like to say Swami Vivekananda. I mean, do you know that 12th January we celebrate National Youth Day? Does anybody know about it? Sorry? Okay, so no, I appreciate your true answer. So yeah, 12th January is celebrated as a National Youth Day. It's because it's inspired from Swami Vivekananda, the guy who was there in 18th century. And today it's 2016, but we still take his name. Why? Because he was a youth icon for everyone. His teachings, his sayings, his way of saying spirituality and his way of saying religion in such a different way. We all are spiritual people because we all have spirits in us, what he has to say, and which is such a true thing, that being spiritual, automatically you start grasping things which you only have to learn and have to grasp it. So today, let's talk about it. Once we go out of the university and we start working in the professional field, like me being a filmmaker, I would like to give my example because it's easy for me to explain it in a normal way, because yeah, that's what my personal experience, I can put it into words properly rather than taking somebody else's. But yeah, me coming from a Gujarati family, when I told my dad that my dad is a businessman, and he said that, Premal, so you're doing commerce, right? And after commerce, you're gonna do what? You're gonna join my business? And I was not ready somewhere, because I wanted to do something of my own. I told my dad that give me some time, I want to figure out myself what I want to do. And after passing my 12th standard in Bombay, I realized that I'm really weak in maths. So I should not take anything which is related to maths. So I did bachelor's in mass media, which is known as mass communication skills. And out in there, we had a subject known as cinematography, photography, which I did, and I did few projects. And suddenly my mentor told me that you have an eye of a cinematographer. Why don't you go a little more detailed into this? But it was a big challenge because your society, your background matters a lot from where you are growing. You know, it is really important. Now, me growing from a Gujarati family where my uncle says that, you know, if you have a big stomach, it is a sign of you come from a prosper family. Wow. Really, that if I have a big stomach, then I'm a healthy man, I come a wealthy man, and I have a big stomach, so that's a good sign of being a prosper family. Now, that point of view which my family has, and me completely opposite contrast towards it. Like, no, I don't really want to get into business, I want to do something of my own. So my dad gave me 2 years of time, said that you have 2 years. If you can prove yourself, go ahead. And if you need any help from my side, I'm there to help you out, which is the great thing ever. Because normally, nowadays, I've seen when the question was asked, how many students over here are doing what they really want to do? And I saw there were very few hands coming up, isn't it? How many of you over here are doing what exactly you want to do, like from your heart and soul? Like, yeah, hell yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, add 20 there. So out of how many students, we have like 25 of them putting their hands up that they're doing exactly what they want to do. What about the rest? What is the scene? I mean, trust me. We want to do what we exactly want to do, and if you want to really do what you want to do, then you should actually do what you want to do. That's what Swami Vivekananda also said, you know. And actually, if you from your heart, if you really prove yourself that you can, if you make it, fix it, that I can do this, I can be a cinematographer, I can be a photographer, I can really do this. And you can actually, trust me. It's little difficult, it's little hard in life. Once you'll go out and you'll see the professional world, you will see how the system is working when you go for working for some company, or when you're working for some production house, or in journalism you're working for some news channel, or in architecture you're working for some big architect company, and you'll see that the system of working is totally so different than the college life, which is actually very important to learn. So and you, everybody should actually start training each other, like each self, that, sorry for this. We have to start training ourselves from now, from this youth, from this age, that how exactly once you're gonna go out, you have to have that energy. कि मैं कर सकता हूँ, और मैं करूँगा, because it is very important. And once you select a field, you have to also see that, okay, in this world, there are many doctors, many cinematographers, many engineers, many everything. From every field, there are many. So how you be a special one out of it? I mean, there are 10 CAs. What is your specialty? There are 10 cinematographers. What is your specialty? There are 10 engineers. What is your specialty? It's a competitive world, guys. It's competitive world. You're gonna be asked this, that, okay, there are, ये तो हम सब कर लेते हैं, आप में ऐसा क्या है? So I would really suggest that once you select your field, also look for the specialization in the field. Like I myself, I did cinematography. Okay, I learned in 1 year how to use a camera. But there are so many cinematographers in India. There are so many cinematographers all over the world. What makes me do a little different? So I decided, okay, underwater. Wow, this is something different. Like, there are only 3 cinematographers, underwater cinematographers in Bombay, and I am one of them, which I feel really good after that. Wow. I don't wanted the clap, but I was just explaining it, so don't say that I'm praising myself. I'm not, but I'm glad I'm getting these claps. But it is actually true that specialization is very important in whatever you do. A simple thing is done simply, but how to do that simple thing in an intense way? It is the way of knowledge. It is the way, and you will get this thing only from your mentors. Seriously, from your mentors, from yourself, from your parents, because of course, when you are born, the main people in your life are your parents, who have the best time to code perfect knowledge in your brain, who has the best quality time to put you in a perfect school. They have a best quality time to give you perfect knowledge about the culture, education, society, because it affects a lot. Once you start getting matured, and once you start getting, you cross the age of 25, 26, you will start making your own decisions, but all those own decisions will be very important. If you have a strong base where you have got good learning from your parents, from your folks, from outside, then you will be the best person to decide what you want to do. Seriously. And I want this energy in every one of us, because it's very important. Trust me, guys, it's very important. I can have a PPT presentation, I can have a video, all this, but trust me, all these things, you're gonna listen to it and then you'll forget. But if something like just previously sir said about the festival of Ma Saraswati, wow, Om Namo Narayan, the way of greeting, wow. Like, see, these things, it's fitted in my mind. It has taken some space in my head now, and it's gonna stay forever. In the same way, if you take few knowledge, few things related to your field, that what exactly can be done and how specialization can be done and how can you grow in your life and how better you can become than 10 others, then the energy inside you is really required with full power. Trust me, with full power energy. Because that's only gonna take you to the heights. Otherwise, we'll pass out the college, we'll do a job, we are earning money, shadi kiya, bache hue, and your life is done. No, man. No. We have one life, trust me, we have one life, which we say 60 years of span, of course, now, because looking at lifestyle of our youngsters, I know, by 60 we'll be like, okay, balance karna abhi, kyunki abhi nahi ho raha hai. So in this 60 years of life, you have to make it worth it. Everybody is doing everything what they want to do, like normally, but how one can do something great, something which you can connect to the world, something which you can connect to everything, something which you can say and pass a message, you have to become one of them. And trust me, that is only through it's only you can do it. Nobody else can do it. I can pull you to a classroom, make you sit there for 4 hours and give you information, but it's not going to work unless your heart and soul is ready to accept the information. And to do that, you have to get the energy. and you can do what you can do. A human being is an immense mechanism. We have an immense brain, we have an immense body. Like right now I'm talking, but actually I can't, right now you guys are giving so much of attention to me. Some people are chilling, no stress, but some people who are looking at me, at the same time your lungs are working, your kidney is working, your liver is working, but anybody's feeling it. Is anybody feeling it that these things are working inside you? No, right? No, that's the intense mechanism of the body. In the same way, we have to be like a body. Our brain has to be like a body. Like, that it's working. It has to be at its maximum strength because we are young and right now we have the full power energy in us. If we perfectly make use of this energy today, it will be great because it is well said. I had saved this because I keep forgetting things, so I had saved this. Yeah. The life you live is the lesson you teach. Boom. Isn't it such a simple word? The life you live is the lesson you teach. And you have to grow and you have to become that person in life where you can immensely teach somebody a great way of living life. And this is the only time, like youth is the only time where you have this capability of grasping things very easily, putting into yourself, and then working out of it. Trust me. And if you have this thing in you, it will be great. Okay. So now I had communication skills. I just added 2 points when I was sitting there because I thought it's very important to also discuss few things, which is like how you can actually communicate properly, like intellectual skills, how you intellect with somebody. Now today we are in lovely professional university, but once you're gonna go abroad tomorrow, you're gonna be with some man from, suppose you go to UK, you're gonna be with a Britisher who has a different accent. And first of all, intellecting with world, with an accent is a very difficult thing, trust me. So from today, you have to start getting this thing in you that what in future if I go to this part of the world, I should intellect properly. What if I go to this part of the world, I should intellect properly. Like whenever I travel in the parts of the world, if I go to France, I try to learn some local language so that you can, I love it. And trust me, once you talk to more people worldwide, you learn so many different things which you will never even imagine of. Like there are so many different things in this world going on and you can only grasp that if you can talk to people. So intellectual skills is really the basics of it, which we all have to learn. And if this is possible, then anything is possible, guys. So I would like to end my thing here only because I don't want to take much time. And I have a lecture later more about cinematography. So all filmmaker students, even journalist students who are interested, who can come over for my lecture because I'm going to show some of my work. I'm going to show some shows from Nat Geo which I did, like mega structures. I'm going to show some my showreel. I'm going to show some underwater shots, some aerial shots, and then we'll discuss that how actually film is being made. It's not only I'm going to show you, but we're going to see it. I've got my drone as well. I have my own drone. And I'm really glad that yesterday I got this. I got Phantom 4, the latest technology in the world right now. Phantom 4. I have got it with me, so we can fly it together. I can teach you. I can show you that how the particular with keeping cinematography in mind, keeping filmmaking in mind. Language, right? Even in my work, language is really important. Trust me, my camera speaks a language. When camera pulls in, when it tracks in, there is a reason why the camera is going from point A to point B. You must have seen, like, camera is coming from top to down and camera is moving slowly inside. That's the language of the camera. So when there is an intense scene and when the actor is feeling really, really intense feeling, the camera slowly pulls in. To give you the feeling, it's a language again. See, communicating skills. It's not only by talking, but even through your work, you can communicate well. And you can show things well. Trust me, I to love it. I to love more talking through the camera. Like when director tells me a shot that, hey, you know what, this is a Gharial here who is, we were shooting Planet Earth series, if you people know it. It comes on BBC. And we were shooting the life of Gharial. The Gharial is the crocodile who basically comes from the time of dinosaurs. So it has a ghara in front of it, and we shot it in Chambal in the wild. We went underwater to shoot a crocodile, which was a great experience for me, staying 4 feet away from a crocodile underwater and filming a crocodile. It's a crazy deal. It's a crazy deal. You can't breathe. You can't breathe. When you are in front of 4 feet in front of a crocodile, you can't breathe. You can't get the bubbles out. If you get the bubbles out, he spanks you, and you're done. And I did that. I did one mistake by just not exhaling, but inhaling it, and one bubble came out, and the crocodile was just like looking at me, and I was feeling so scared, like maybe he's gonna pounce on me. But touch wood, nothing happened. But once I came out of the water, one crocodile eventually ran over towards me and he bit me. I'll show you the video. That was BBC officially uploaded that video where Ron Whitniger, a well-known crocodile expert, is talking about a crocodile, and I'm shooting, and suddenly he just pounces on me. And yeah, I still have this mark. His teeth went all the way inside my thumb, and it just took off all my mass out. So yeah, but that's experiences, and that's the love for work, I would like to say. The crocodile came to me, and it pounced on me, but I still kept filming because you should love your work. And that's what I want to tell you, everybody over here. Love what you do. Trust me, but once you will pick it up, right? Once you will start knowing that, oh man, I'm enjoying this, then you will not work anymore. You will just chill. Whenever I go on shoots, right, I don't say I'm going on shoot. I'm saying I'm going to chill. Because my work is to chill. I relax. I do what I love to do. I frame things. I make things look beautiful, you know. And in your job, whatever you'll do, you will have your interest of it. So you have to develop that interest in you, that you start not working, but you start chilling. And if you develop this personality, right, of that, oh, hey, I'm not going to office, I'm going to chill, man. Wow, that smile on your face, and you all day, that energy in you will not even drink Revital or something like that to keep your energy boosted. Trust me on this, because your internal energy is such a great thing, your body is such a great thing, which produces such great energy. You just have to know it. You just have to maybe, you know, find it. Maybe meditation. Meditation helps the best business. I meditate every day. I do Surya Namaskar every day. Not because मुझे बोला गया करने के लिए कि करो, लेकिन when I really did it, it really works. When you do Surya Namaskar, you don't need to go to gym. Because my job is to carry heavy cameras. I carry a 6 kg camera and I run like anywhere. We are shooting in a desert in 48 degrees, or I'm shooting in minus 25 degrees in Sikkim. The temperature keeps varies, but you have to be strong, health-wise as well as mental-wise. In my job especially, and in any job, health is the most important thing. As we have learned in school, right? Health is wealth. Honesty is the best policy. In the same way, actually, if you have that power in you, you can do it. And I would like to end my thing here only. I wish you all a very good luck in life. Trust me, you guys are in a great, great university. You should thank your parents and everybody who has put you into this great university to gain so much of knowledge around so many great people in such a great campus. Like seriously, when I came here first time to film Campus Diaries, and I saw the college, and I was like, why was I studying in Malad in Bombay in a 2 Malacca school here? You know, 2-story school, and I studied my 10 years out of it, and I finished it. And when I came in, I see like, holy, what amazing place. Like, there is everything in a campus what you need, and you feel like a boss when you are studying in this university, you know. Of course, you feel like a boss. And you all should be happy for this, that you have got this opportunity. So let's take this opportunity, let's get the energy boosted in you, and prove it. Prove it what you can do, and be specialized in your field, because that's the future. That's why youth is today, tomorrow, and day after. Why? Because today you have to learn what you're learning, but tomorrow you have to become specialized on what you're learning today so that you can survive. So I wish you all a good luck. Do great stuff in life. Keep killing it, and see you soon in my next lecture. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your motivational words.
And about the campus, we are a world within. Lovely Professional University has everything, and we are a world within. And about the crocodile incident, sir, about the crocodile incident, first of all, I have reptile phobia. And when you narrated the incident, I was imagining myself to be right in front of the crocodile. Yes? How if I released one bubble from my mouth, and I would never stop with one bubble, I'd go out with 2 to 3 bubbles. And the crocodile would surely notice me. I wouldn't have no guts to get in there. Yes? Hats off to your guts, and thank you for the motivation you drive us through. Can we have a loud round of applause?
Moving ahead, we have the last speaker, that is Dr. Sandeep Chatwal. He is the managing trustee of Viranwali Foundation, He is a practicing physician and managing director of Omni Clinics and Diagnost. Viranwali Foundation is an NGO that has been active since 2005. Nanijan is the flagship of the project of Viranwali Foundation. Nanijan is a cause and an effort dedicated to the well-being of the unprivileged children, leading doctors, businessmen, technocrats and professionals of Chandigarh have come together as a family to an integral part of the Nanijan and work towards the reducing plan and suffering of the poor children. So, I welcome Sir to please come up on the dais and enlighten with your words.
The audience are requested to sit down because the gates will be open only after the session. You're requested to sit down and maintain the decorum as well. Audience, you're requested to sit down. We have a last speaker for the day, for the session, so you're requested to sit down and maintain the decorum.
Good afternoon. I know all of your stomachs are growling, and so is mine. So I promise to keep it very short and very crisp. The topic I was given was youth today, tomorrow, and afterwards. And some of the aspects have been covered by the previous speakers. They have given you take-home messages. Happiness is our core, I would say, strength, which all of us should develop. Mr. Indrajit talked about it. Communication skills were talked about by Mr. Surinder Seth, and how one should live one's life by Mr. Premal Rawal. So I would be actually touching on two more core aspects, that is integrity and empathy. Now before I do this, I am going to share two stories with you. And a chopper was flying here in Punjab in the Ludhiana district with 5 people aboard, till one of the rotors of the chopper just got off, and the chopper just did a 90-degree and had a free fall. It had a free fall for 5,000 feet and landed in a paddy field. All 5 people survived the crash. I was one of them. This was the tipping point or the turning point in my life. But then I had another near-death experience. The year was 2008. My 8-year-old son, it was 2010, my 8-year-old son had fever. He went to the school, just like a normal viral fever, and I'm a doctor. So he went to the school because it was his midterm exam, and vomited in the school. I got a call. I went to the school, picked him up, brought him home, and in an hour's time, the kid just collapsed in my hands. I gave the kid CPR, cardiopulmonary resuscitation, revived him, picked him up, and took him to the best ICU we have for children at PGI, where he arrested again and was put on a ventilator. Now, during this time, we had an endemic of viral brain fever in the Tri-City. Almost 215 people suffered from it, and near 200 people died within the first 6 hours. There were 15 survivors. 13 of them were left with neurological deficit. My son and I are the blessed ones. I being his father, he was the sufferer. And the boy, in spite of having multi-organ dysfunction, just came out unscathed, free from everything. Why this happened to me, I do not know, but this also changed my life. And although I started working very energetically towards other people's causes once I survived the crash, this made me even more motivated. And I will just share that I am a part of not an organization, I am not a part of an NGO, I am a part of a movement which we call Nanni Jaan. This is a movement which is dedicated to the cause of the underprivileged child and is working presently in the Tri-City I'm from Chandigarh, but we are slowly going to expand into other bigger cities in Punjab, Haryana and Himachal, because now we are growing. Having said that, I would just take you quickly through the presentation, because I will be just focusing on you because it is your day today. Where do we stand today? Now, this is a demographic graph which shows that India has a pot belly. This is a pot belly, and 65% of our population, as Premal also discussed, is below 35 years of age. If you compare the graphs with various other countries, the lower center graph is the Indian graph, and the one next to it is the Turkey graph. Other than that, all countries have aging populations. So, this leads me to my first question. What do you think is the most important resource for any country? What do you think? Human being? Anything in specific? Good? Youth. So the most important resource for any country is you. APJ Abdul Kalam, one of the most respected people, and I'll share with you another story here. I also have authored a book for medical science, and as my publisher wanted, I sent the first copy to the then President APJ Abdul Kalam. He spared time to write a personal letter to me with his autographs, congratulating and encouraging me. This was the stature of this guy. So he said that the youth below the age of 25, and that includes all of you, are the most powerful resources on the earth, under the earth, and above the earth. We have to empower them through value-based education and leadership. So what exactly is youth power? All of you have tremendous energy. You have towering ambitions, you have faster actions and executions, and limitless aspirations. But this is what actually saddens us. This is misguided youth. We are all human beings. We are not inanimate objects like televisions. We have our own brain, we can think for ourselves. And 99% of youth who are indulging in such activities as Inderjit was talking about human bombs are people who behave like televisions. You press one button and you can make them angry. You press another button, you can make them agitated. You press a third button and they will become violent. They don't have brains. But I believe that all of you sitting here in the audience are human beings who have brains and who can think for themselves and are not inanimate objects. Social networking and the use of social networking for productivity was touched upon by Surinderji, so I will not go into it. One thing I would like to emphasize here, and many of you may be knowing about this, is the difference between education and learning. Can anybody elaborate or give your opinion on what you think it is? What is the difference between education and learning? Yeah, please. Yes? Speak up. Okay. Education is something which is given to us from our institute. It is driven into us. It is forced upon us. We have to get that education in order to get a degree. What I want to tell you is that you have to change your mindset and you have to yearn for knowledge. That is learning. Until you drive yourself to gain more, you will never actually gain. You may get a degree, but in life, this is not going to be important. So you have to evolve. Now, what are the concerns all of you face today? And here I am reminded of again what Inderji ji said about the SIP program. He talked about security, he talked about identity, and he talked about purpose. So all of you want security, you want to work. That's the last point. All of you want to work, you want jobs, you want good jobs, you want to be secure. You want to lead a life of dignity and self-respect. You want your own identity. And you want a purpose in life because you want to participate in different things which are going on in the country around you. You want to have a democratic society. You want to have social justice. Students like you in the JNU did it. So these are the things which are integral and which possibly you are dreaming of and which are indirectly going to make you happy. So even our think tanks at the center, in the National Youth Policy of 2014, they said that if India has to find a rightful place in the community of nations, we have to empower our youth. So all of you have to be actually active drivers of development and not just passive recipients of development. Now all of you are urban young. I think all of you are from cities. Maybe some are from the rural background, but now being in a city, you are urban young. So you have a dual cultural passport. You are connecting or bridging the gap of the elder generation with the West. You are actually a mingle of two cultures. And you are important because you have to preserve your previous culture, as at the same time you have to integrate the newer things into our present culture. You are energetic consumers of media, lifestyle, products, fashion. But many of you also want to go for greener pastures and are ignorant about what is going on in the other parts of the country. A little I would like to touch on. So 1/5 of our population is actually between 10 to 19 years of age, and they are staying in rural and tribal areas, and they are not having enough resources. They are unable to compete, and they have a lot of drugs. Drug menace is really rampant over there. Roosevelt said, "We cannot build our future for our youth, but we can build our youth for the future." So this is what this seminar is all about. We are here to help you, mentor you, and to share with you our life experiences in order to put you on track to build your own future. You have a lot of challenges ahead. I'm talking about just this country. So there is corruption, there are less jobs, fewer opportunities. You have to tackle a lot of resource drain. Lot of people are actually moving out of this country to other countries and shaping their future. In fact, the entire Silicon Valley, I think 70% would be just Indians. So they are shaping the future of other countries and not thinking about what is going on here. And I would also like to point on one thing which I term the rural lag. If there is a train passing through a station, we can only say that the train has passed through the station if the last coach of the train is through. So unless and until we think of pulling all the rural population along with us, we will not progress. And until and unless we will not progress, the growth will stop, the gap and the divide will increase, and that is what is going to lead to unhappiness, that is what is going to lead to unrest, that is what is going to lead to civil war. So all of you have to think about this. So our goals for our country for tomorrow are to ensure that there is social justice, there is financial equality, you are all free, there is universal liberty, and there is peace and fraternity, there is harmony. Everyone wants to change the world, but nobody wants to change. So this is the question I would like to ask you. Do you want to change to bring about a change? How many of you want to change to bring about a change? Very few. This is the country you're going to live in. So if you don't want to change to bring about a change, God bless you. So you have to act, because action only changes things. Take the bull by the horns. You have to change yourself first. Until you change yourself, you cannot change this world. If you cannot change this world, you cannot change anything. So all the challenges of tomorrow are actually going to be opportunities for you. You have to fight corruption, you have to create opportunities, and you have to tackle all what is going on. A very famous saying by Martin Luther King, I presume that all of you know about him. Everybody can be great because anybody can serve. But you don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and your verb agree to serve. And you don't have to know the second theory of thermodynamics in physics to serve. The only thing you need to have is a heart full of grace and a soul generated by love. Many a time, youngsters ask me, how will one person's effort make a difference? What if I do something, how is it going to make a difference? And here I share with you the starfish story. So there was this old man, and he was walking on the beach one morning, and this was after the storm, and in the distance he saw someone was moving like a dancer. So as he came closer, he saw that it was a young woman, and she was picking up the starfish and gently she was throwing them back into the ocean. So he said, "Young lady, what are you doing? Why are you throwing these starfish into the ocean?" So she said, "The sun is up, the tide is going to go off, and if I do not do this, the starfish are going to die." So he said, do you realize that there are miles and miles and miles of the beach, and there are thousands of starfish? You cannot just make a difference. So the young lady, she politely went down, picked up a starfish, and threw it into the ocean and said, "It makes a difference to this one." So it depends. If you want to bring about a change, it makes a difference to that one. Ask the family of a kid who survives. It makes a difference to them. So these are the different values I would want our next generation to inculcate. You should volunteer, you should think about other people, you should spend some time in charity. Areas where you could help. You are smart people. You have better communication skills and better social networking than we do. You are about to start your careers. You can create more lasting friendships. So why don't you use communication skills to combat offenses? Why don't you use communication skills to make networks of like-minded people, to disseminate knowledge, to use communication skills to mold public opinion? I think all of you can contribute in doing that. Activism is my rent for living on this planet. Alice Walker said that. So I would just like to end with a few lines I wrote on the way in the car. I also write poetry, although it's all unpublished. But whatever I could scribble, I just wrote down, and it just came out just spontaneously, so there are no corrections. Challenges are there, opportunities too. If you choose to care, they are nothing in front of you. You are the today, and you are our tomorrow. After a dark day, you are our bright morrow. The old order changeth, giving way to new. The onus of India of my dreams lies on you. Go build an India of your dreams. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. And we assure you that we, Virtuos of LPU, and everyone that is out here today will keep this thing in mind and build an India of our dreams.
With this, I would like to give away the vote of thanks for the first session. Sometimes good things need to end and the better things to begin. Ladies and gentlemen, this is LPU's National Literary Fest 2016. Thank you so much for taking time of your busy day to visit our university. With this, I also thank all the speakers for giving this such a valuable insight for our futures and career. We hope it was a positive experience from your side as well. The information you shared were very enlightening. Once again, we thank you so much for being here.
We'll be starting off with the second session from 2 p.m. So I'm sure you don't want to miss it because we'll be having motivational speaker Mr. Nasir Khan taking the session starting from 2 p.m. Thank you. Enjoy.
Let's go, be. Go, be.
चेक करो
जीने की ख्वाहिशें लेके
सपनों की बारिशें लेके
निकले जो अनजानी राहों पे हम चले,
बनाएंगे हम राहें,
पाएंगे जो हम चाहें,
मंजिल मिल जाएगी गले खो